Okay, now yes, let's begin again. I think I have a problem here. 1 second. Now yes?
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.
Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Okay, so we welcome all of you to our weekly Bhagavad Gita classes. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have with us here Auntie Neeta, Aja, Meenakshi, Disha Milwani, Divya, Durga Prasad, Hema Bangari, Karuna Jadwani, Khushbu, Lavanya, Manju, N.C. Venkatchari. Then my parents are there. Then we have Ritu Lalwani, Romi, Sri Radhe Devidasi, Tarun, and Venkatesh. A. Okay. So what did we see in the previous class? In the previous class, we saw how Krishna has revealed more about the worship of the demigods, of the Devatas. So here we saw in verse 20 how Krishna is speaking about those who study the Vedas. So here it's about the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. The Karma Kanda, or the initial section of the Vedas, talk about how different practices can be done in order to get your different material desires to be fulfilled. No, Karma Kanda section, or what we call as material religiosity. Do this ceremony or some kind of religiosity, and you can get this in return. For example, if somebody does not have a child, then you can do this. Somebody is not able to get married, then you do this, like that. So, but this is all material religiosity. It's not done because of love of the Lord. So those who are studying the Vedas and drinking the Soma juice, Krishna says. So the Soma juice is something that is that helps one to acquire punya credits, and therefore it helps one to go to the higher planetary systems, heavenly planets. So Karma Kanda section of the Vedas also discuss about how we can do some practices in order to attain heaven. And in heaven, what happens? One is purified of sinful reactions. We can take birth on pious heavenly planet of Lord Indra. Indra is the king of heaven, and one can enjoy godly delights. But so then what is the problem? Everything seems very good. The problem is, Krishna says in the next verse 21, that one has to return again to this mortal planet. One has to come back again. So this pleasure that one can enjoy in heaven, these godly delights, one cannot enjoy eternally. One has to come back as soon as the punya credits run out, then one has to return again to this mortal planet. And therefore, such people achieve only repeated birth and death. So therefore, Krishna says that those who worship me with exclusive devotion, then to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So whatever one we may be lacking in our spiritual practices, that Krishna will provide. And whatever little we can do also, that Krishna preserves eternally. That is always there in our spiritual bank balance. Nothing is lost. Even the smallest of devotional service that we may do, even that is made a note of and it is preserved. But material activities are not like that. No, with death, whatever wealth we may have accumulated, or the beauty we may have, or the educational qualifications that we may have, our degrees, everything is taken away from us at the time of death. So it's not that it is preserved. We do not carry on from where we left off in the previous life. But when we engage in devotional service, then especially when we have exclusive devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then Krishna says, I carry what you lack and preserve what you have. Then Krishna goes on to say that those who are the devotees of other gods, no, Anya Devata, Krishna says, say in the Sanskrit, Anya Devata. So those who are the devotees, Anya Devata Bhakta, those who are the devotees of Anya Devatas, then Krishna says that they are worshipping me only. They actually worship only me, Krishna says. So what is the problem? The problem is they are doing so in a wrong way. Avidhi Purvakam. Krishna is using the word Avidhi Purvakam. So yes, when we worship the other devatas also, we are worshipping Krishna, but we are doing so in a wrong way. So the point here is that no matter whether one believes in Krishna or not, one has faith in Krishna or not, one has faith in some other devata, whatever it may be, still at the end of the day, the worship is going to Krishna only. But the problem is, it is in a wrong way. Avidhi Purvakam. Now, why it is Avidhi Purvakam? Why it is in a wrong way? Because Krishna says, I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. So ultimately, everything will go to Krishna. Krishna is the only enjoyer. Nobody can enjoy independent of Krishna. We can enjoy with Krishna, but we cannot enjoy independent of Krishna, whoever one may be. So Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. God means God is that person who is the only enjoyer, and he's the master of all the sacrifices. Now, if one does not recognize this true nature, will fall down. Why will one fall down? Because one again has to come back and take birth again. So therefore one falls down. One has to come back again again in the cycle of birth and death. So therefore one falls down. But if one can recognize that Krishna is the only enjoyer and master of sacrifices, then one can go to the spiritual world from where one never comes back again. Now, 25, very, very important verse. Krishna is saying those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors will go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. But those who worship me will live with me. So based on this, we can say that all paths do not lead to the same goal. It's very, very commonly said, no, and very loosely people make this comment. Doesn't matter what you do, ultimately everything is the same. All paths lead to the same goal. But Krishna is very clearly making this distinction that all paths do not lead to the same goal. If you worship the demigods, then this is your goal. If you worship the ancestors, then your goal is different. When you worship ghosts and spirits, then again your destination is different. So there are different destinations for different paths. Not everybody will ultimately reach Krishna. He is very clearly making this distinction. So all paths do not lead to the same goal. It's just like if somebody wants to travel to, let's say one has to go to Australia, one has to buy a flight ticket that will take you to your destination, that will take you to Australia. It's not that I buy any ticket and I board any aircraft and ultimately all the flights are going to go to Australia. No, it's not like that. If my goal is Australia, if my destination, if I want to go to Australia, then I have to buy an air ticket and board that particular plane which will take me to Australia. It's not that all paths lead to the same goal. It's not that any flight I take, ultimately all the flights are going to land in Australia. It's not like that. So very clearly here, Krishna is making that distinction. Today onwards, we have to start from verse number 26.
26.
Yes, 26. Who can read today?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes. Thank you, Sri Hari Radha. I'm confused about your name. Previously, you wrote your name Sri Hari Radha, and now you write Sri Radha. So, what is the name?
I went to ISKCON. I was sitting there. One Prabhu was giving class. I think Prabhupada's disciple. He said it's not Hari Radha, it's Radhe Hari. And I said, okay. Then I wrote that. And then what happened? I changed it again to Hari Radha. But then again, when I signed back in, it just changed to Radhe Hari. So I'm like, okay.
But what is the name your spiritual master gave you?
He gave me Shri because my name starts with S. So Sheetal. So he gave me Shri Hari Radha.
So, the name your spiritual master given you is Sri Hari Radha.
I'm going to ask him, I'm going to talk to him because somebody told me it should be Radhe Hari. That's what they said when they were giving a class in ISKCON. And so I'll talk to him and then I think he will change it. I'm pretty sure he will change it because he says that Radhe should come before Hari. So it should be Radhe Hari.
So, yeah, you need to ask your spiritual master because he is the ultimate authority. He is the one who has given you your spiritual name, right? So, you need to verify this, please.
I'll ask today itself, today or tomorrow, because I would have to call India. Yeah.
Okay.
26, right? Slok number.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the last section of this chapter. I hope to finish the chapter today. Here, Krishna is going to discuss how Kevala Bhakti or pure devotional service is far superior to demigod worship. Let's hear the shloka.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachyate tadaham bhakyupahritam ashnami prayatatmanah.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Hare Krishna.
So this here, Krishna is, it's a very, very sweet verse where Krishna is saying, what exactly he accepts when one makes an offering to him. What is the chief ingredient? No, what is the chief ingredient? Krishna is saying, if one offers me with love and devotion, no, so love and devotion, whatever it may be, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it, Krishna is saying. So whatever offering we make to the Lord, the chief ingredient is love and devotion. Krishna is not looking at the opulence of your offering. He is very happily accepting even a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, Krishna says. Now, is there anybody who cannot engage in devotional service? Is there anyone who cannot offer a leaf? Leaves are so easily available. Flower, fruit, water. So Krishna says that. But if you offer with love and devotion. So patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. So the chief ingredient is bhakti. The word bhakti is used twice in this verse. Twice Krishna is using here and here. So the chief ingredient is our devotion or our bhakti, or with what kind of love we are making the offering to the Lord. There are many instances where Krishna has rejected a very opulent offering and accepted a more humble offering. Why? Because it was offered with love and devotion. Let's hear from Srila Prabhupada and see one of these examples.
There is a Banshidas Babaji Maharaj. He was talking with his deity. Krishna, just like Madan Mohan. He was talking with Sanatana Goswami. Madan Mohan, Sanatana Goswami at that time had no temple. He was hanging his deity on the tree. So Madan Mohan was talking with him, Sanatana, you are bringing all these dry chapatis and it is stale, and you don't give me even little salt. How can I eat? Sanatana Goswami says, sir, where shall I go? Whatever I get, I offer you. You kindly accept. I cannot move, old man. So Krishna had to eat that. Because the bhakta is offering, he cannot refuse. Jimang bhaktya prajach. The real thing is bhakti. What you can offer to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. What you have got, what is your value? And what is the value of your things? It is nothing. Therefore, the real thing is bhaktya. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I am most rotten, fallen. But I have brought this thing for you. Please take. This will be accepted. Don't be perturbed. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna. That is my request. Thank you very much.
Krishna Kirtana Ganana Tanapano Premamritam Manidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyau Priyakarau Nirmasanau Pujitau Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhubi Bhuva Bharavahantarakam Bande Rupa Sanatana Raghujagam Sri Jiva Gopalakam.
Mataji, will you share this little video of Prabhupada?
Yes, most definitely, I will. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada is explaining how this deity of Madan Mohan was worshipped by Sanatana Goswami. But Sanatana Goswami is a renunciant and he is busy writing books. He is busy doing devotional service. So therefore, he does not have the time and means to offer an opulent opulent bhoga to the Madan Mohan deity, no? And that time there were no temples. So he used to hang the deity from the tree, Srila Prabhupada is explaining. So he used to offer dry chapatis. There was no salt also. So once the deity spoke to Sanatan Goswami and said that, please give me little salt. And Sanatan Goswami said that I'm not able to do that, no? So Madan Mohan had to accept it because the devotee is offering with love. So like that, Krishna, when the offering is made with love, then he has to accept it, no? He is obliged. He feels the obligation that yes, I have to accept it. So the chief ingredient is bhakti. It's not the opulence of the offering, but how one is making the offering is what matters. Now in the Mahabharata, there was this time when Lord Krishna went to Hastinapur as a peace messenger, and Duryodhan had invited him for an opulent royal feast. Of course, Duryodhan is the prince, and the feast is going to be royal and very lavish. But then at that time, Krishna told Duryodhan that one will accept an invitation to another's house under two conditions. What are they? One is if one is hungry, and two is if there is some love and affection between the two parties. So Krishna said, I am not hungry. And because you are the enemy of my devotees, the Pandavas, therefore there is no love and affection between us. And therefore Krishna rejected the invitation of Duryodhan. And Krishna instead accepted the offering in the house of Vidura. Vidura, of course, he's a son of a maidservant, and there the offering is not going to be so lavish like that of Duryodhan's feast. In fact, there Vidura's wife was so enchanted by Krishna that she lost her external senses, and she was throwing the pulp, she was throwing the banana fruit, the pulp of the banana, and she was feeding Krishna the banana skin. And Krishna was eating that very happily. He was eating that. And then Vidura comes and says that, I think I have a photo here. Let's see. Here. And then Vidura comes and he rectifies the situation, so to speak, rectifying. And then he feeds the Lord. And then Krishna comments that actually the skin was tastier than the pulp. Okay. So the chief thing is bhakti. So there are more examples here. Krishna says patram pushpam phalam toyam. So a leaf. What is the best leaf to offer to Krishna? What is the best leaf to offer to Krishna?
Tulsi.
Tulsi leaf. Yes. We have this story of the Tulsi of the Tulabharam. No, we know how Satyabhama put all her jewelry on this scale, and all her jewelry, all her wealth was not enough to bring the scales up. No, Krishna was sitting here. It was actually a trick that was played by Narada Muni, and Narada Muni he told Satyabhama that actually you have given away your husband to me, and you can gain him back by putting in the scale that much of jewelry that would be equal to his weight. So initially Satyabhama said that yes, I have a lot of wealth, that should not be a problem. And she called very confidently, she called for all her wealth to be put on the scale. But she realized very soon that all her jewelry, all her wealth, all her diamonds, all her gold would not bring the scale up. Then she requested the other queens that please bring in your jewelry. And then all the jewelry of all the queens were brought in, and still Krishna's scale would not come up. Finally, what did Rukmini do? She placed one tulsi leaf, and immediately the scale of Krishna came up. So it goes to show that how by just offering the tulsi leaf, Krishna can be what can you say, conquered. Then here's the story of Gajendra. The prayers of Gajendra Moksha are very, very famous, especially in South India. Many people, they recite the Gajendra Moksha prayers. So anyway, Gajendra was an elephant, and his foot was caught in the waters by a crocodile, and he was in this battle. It was a losing battle because Gajendra was losing his strength because he was in the water. No, the elephants are actually land animals. And because the crocodile was in the water, and therefore Gajendra was losing his strength, and he was in a losing battle when he remembered the prayers from his previous lifetime. In the previous lifetime, he was a devotee. So the prayers that he learned in his previous life came to his mind, and he called out to the Lord. At that time, Lord Vishnu, you can see, he came on Garuda, and at that time Gajendra plucked a lotus flower from beside his surroundings. He plucked a flower and immediately he offered it to the Lord. So pushpam, patram, pushpam, phalam. Then phalam, here you can see how this fruit vendor gave all her fruits in the basket to Krishna with love and affection. She was not concerned that Krishna is not going to give her anything in return, because Krishna was trying to bring some grains from inside the house, but the grains were falling off his tiny hands, and by the time he reached the fruit vendor, there was hardly anything that he could give to her. But still, out of love and affection, she gave all her fruits in the basket to Krishna, and in return, Krishna filled her basket with jewelry. Then we know the story of Shabri, who actually gave half-eaten berries. No, who? I mean, who would be able to accept half-eaten berries from someone? So here, Lord Ramachandra, he accepted the half-eaten berries by Shabri because she offered it with love and affection. So everything expensive is not valuable, and everything valuable is not expensive. This is one lesson that one cannot understand if one is on a material platform. My Guru Maharaj tells a story of how many years back, when he was working in Montreal, he was working outside in order to be able to pay the rent for Srila Prabhupada's flat. It was early days of ISKCON. Their funds were not available, and of course, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he was raised in a very, very rich environment. His parents, grandparents, they were multi-millionaires, but he gave up everything because he wanted to join Srila Prabhupada. And although he, in spite of his education, he had to work by sweeping and mopping a restaurant. So at that time, he describes that how one client had come to the restaurant, and then he went up to him and told him that, look, I have a $5,000 suit. I live in a multi-storied house. I have a Mercedes Benz parked outside. I'm wearing a Rolex watch. I have a beautiful wife, but still I'm not happy. He tells my Guru Maharaj. And why are you happy? You are a sweeper. So actually that time my Guru Maharaj, as he was sweeping, he was humming the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he was in a very happy frame of mind because he had just heard a lecture of Srila Prabhupada, and he was humming the Mahamantra to himself. Of course, he cannot chant loudly at that time, because if he's going to chant the Mahamantra loudly, he would be fired from his job. So he says that he was humming, and therefore he was very happy. And this person who has all these material opulences, he says that I am not happy, but you are a sweeper and I see that you are happy. So why is it? How come? So of course the answer is that because he has Srila Prabhupada, because he has Krishna, therefore he is happy. But a person on a material platform, like this person who walked up to my Guru Maharaj, he's not going to understand such things. No? So this is called as ignorant understanding. So everything expensive is not valuable, and everything valuable is not expensive. Some of the points from the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes how bhakti is easy and universal. So there is nobody who cannot accept, who cannot offer to the Lord a leaf or a flower. It's easily available, no? You can just pluck one and offer it to the Lord with devotion. So only qualification is to be a pure devotee. No other qualification is required. Can be attempted by the poorest of the poor, no matter where one is or what one is. So there is no excuse of that I don't have the time, or I'm not in a situation, or I'm not in a place that is favorable. No, there is, no matter where one is or what one is, one can practice bhakti. Compared to other processes, it is the simplest process and highest perfectional stage is offered. So it is very, very simple. It's the simplest. Bhakti is the simplest process compared to Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is very, very simple. And it is also giving you the highest benefit. So Krishna wants only loving service and nothing more, irrespective of quantity or type of object. Even a little flower or leaf, fruit or flower from a pure devotee will do. But no offering is accepted, however big it may be, from a non-devotee, because the Lord is self-sufficient and not in need of anything. So the Lord is completely self-sufficient. What is it that Krishna wants? Srila Prabhupada said in the video, no? What is your value? What is the value of your things? It is nothing, because Krishna has everything. But what is the chief ingredient in our offering is the love, because he does not require anything else. He is Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He's a supreme proprietor of all the planetary systems. So actually there is nothing that we can give the Lord that the Lord does not have. So what the Lord sees is the love and devotion with which it is offered. So bhakti is mentioned twice in this verse to declare emphatically that bhakti is the only process to approach Krishna. No other condition, being a brahmana or a rich man or a scholarship or any kind of philosopher, can induce the Lord to accept any offering. If you love Krishna, offer Krishna whatever he wants. So one will say, okay, Krishna says that whatever I offer with love, he will accept. So okay, let me offer chicken to Krishna with love. So if you love Krishna, you will offer Krishna what he wants. No, so we cannot offer that which is undesirable and unasked for. Krishna is not going to accept meat, fish, eggs, onion, garlic, tea, coffee. Why offer? Why? Because if we enjoy anything without offering, it is sinful. In 3rd chapter, Krishna says, whatever you offer, whatever you eat without offering, one is eating only sin. So when we eat food, even if it is vegetarian food, even if it is without onion, garlic, even if it is sattvic, it is still sin if it is not offered to the Lord. So most important element of preparation, serving and offering is love. Krishna's senses are interchangeable and can perform the function of each other. So one may say, oh, I'm offering food to the deity of the Lord, or I'm offering food to the photo of the Lord, but how is the photo or how is the deity going to eat? So the Lord's senses are interchangeable. It's not like our senses. No, he can eat by just looking at the offering. So the Lord impregnates by his glance. We know how at the dawn of creation, we saw how Mahavishnu is glancing at the creation. And then his glance takes the form of Shambhu, and then Shambhu and Durga, they unite, and therefore all the living entities are coming into, are being transferred to the material planets. So the Lord can impregnate by his glance. Krishna eats by hearing the devotees' words of love. Also speaks by breathing and gives the Vedas. So we know how by the sound vibration of his flute, Krishna is passing down Vedic knowledge to Lord Brahma at the dawn of creation. So like this, Krishna's senses are interchangeable and can perform the function of each other. So bhakti is the only means to approach Krishna. Nothing else can induce the Lord to accept any offering. Krishna does not see the offering, he sees the intention behind the offering. So can one conclude the same about the demigods, about the devatas? Do the devatas see the intention behind the offering? Let us see some examples. See, this is the story of Lord Shiva and the demon Brikasura. The demon Brikasura went to Kedarnath and ignited a sacrificial fire to please Lord Shiva. In the fire, he began to offer his own flesh by cutting it from his body. On the 7th day, the demon Brikasura decided that he should cut off his head and offer it to satisfy Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva appeared from the fire to check the demon from suicide. Brikasura said, "May death come to whomever I touch upon the head with my hand." So Brikasura was offering his bodily parts, and what is it that he wanted? He wanted that whomever I touch, on whosoever head I put my hand, that person should be finished. He should die. As soon as Lord Shiva granted this benediction, the demon, in order to test Lord Shambhu's benediction, tried to put his hand on the Lord's head. So just see, was he a devotee? Was he doing it out of
No.
devotion? No, certainly not, isn't it? Because just see what kind of a person, so demoniac, his mentality. Immediately after he has got this benediction, now he wants to place his hand on the head of Lord Shiva only. So see, the demigods, they do not consider the intention of the person before they grant the benediction. Same thing with Ravan. Ravan also worshipped Lord Shiva. And Hiranyakashipu, he worshipped Lord Brahma, and he got those boons. No, Hiranyakashipu thought that all these boons that he's getting from Lord Brahma, that he should not die neither in the day nor in the night, nor inside the house nor outside the house. He should not be killed by any any weapon. So like that, he got these whole list of benedictions, and Hiranyakashipu and Lord Brahma granted him all those benedictions. And Hiranyakashipu thought that now, yes, he has got immortality. So you see how the demigods, they feel obliged when somebody is doing some tapasya, they are accumulating some punyas, and then the demigods, they feel obliged that they have to grant the boon to the person. So the devatas do not consider the intention of the person before they grant the boon, as we see here in the case of Rikasura, or in the case of Ravana, or we see in the case of Hiranyakashipu. This thing does not apply to Krishna. You will never hear of any benediction given by Lord Krishna or any Vishnu Tattva where the boon that was granted was given to a person who later misused the boon. You will never hear any such thing from our history. So this is Hiranyakashipu who got the boons from Lord Brahma. See, Vasudev speaks to Narad Muni. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who worship the demigods receive reciprocation from the demigods in a way just corresponding to the offering. So corresponding to the offering, the demigods are giving the boon. They are not considering the intention of the person. Why? Because the demigods are attendants of karma, like a person's shadow. But sadhus are actually merciful to the fallen. So see, the devatas are attendants of karma. So if the person has done that kind of tapasya and he has accumulated that punya in order to get the offering, then because the demigods are attendants of karma, they feel obliged that yes, I have to grant the boon for which the person has done his tapasya. Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely in this purport from the Srimad Bhagavatam. The demigods are empowered by the Lord to follow precisely the particular karma of a living entity in awarding him happiness and distress. Just as a shadow cannot move independently, the demigods cannot punish or reward a living being independently. Although the demigods are millions of times more powerful than human beings on earth, they are ultimately tiny servants of God, whom the Lord allows to play as the controllers of the universe. On the other hand, devotees of the Lord, such as Narada Muni, by their potent preaching, can interfere in the karma of a living entity by persuading him to give up his fruitive activity and mental speculation and surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the demigods cannot go beyond the law of karma. So how can karma be changed? When one comes in contact with a devotee of the Lord, that devotee will persuade him to give up his material activities and surrender to the Lord. Now, Krishna is the one who can actually rewrite the rules of the game for his devotee. He can override the karma. He can just get rid of all the past karma in a flash, just like that. Just by surrendering to Krishna, everything, all the past karmic reactions, everything can be burnt away, just like that. But that is not possible for the devatas. As we saw here from the Srimad Bhagavatam, demigods are attendants of. So just as how the bank teller can hand over a maximum of only as much as you possess in your account, in the same way the demigods can grant you only that which you have accumulated in your karmic bank balance. So the cashier in the bank can give you only that much money, how much you have in your bank account. So the same way the demigods can give you only that much benediction, how much is there in your karmic bank balance. Let's go to 27.
यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever you eat, whatever you offer to or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me, Hare Krishna.
See, after the previous verse where Krishna is saying that he sees the love and devotion, he sees the bhakti in the offering. Now one may say, okay, now I don't have any bhakti in my heart. I don't have any love for the Lord. So now what do I do? So that Krishna is answering in 27. Now Krishna is saying, okay, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerity you perform, do that as an offering to me. So Krishna says, okay, there is no devotion, fine. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, you do it as an offering to me. So what's the difference? See, in the previous verse, bhakti was mentioned twice. In this verse, there is no word called bhakti in this, because there is no bhakti. Now, if one doesn't have a bhakti, of course, one cannot fake it. One cannot cheat. So Krishna is saying, whatever you do, you just do it as an offering to me. So in the previous example, in the previous verse, example is Krishna loves to eat, let's say Krishna loves butter. So today I'm going to offer something that is something that Krishna likes, no? So my one's thought process is, what is it that Krishna would like to eat today? What can I offer to Krishna that Krishna would like to eat? In this 27 is like, oh, today I feel like having gulab jamuns. So I prepare gulab jamuns, I offer it to the Lord, and then I will eat the prasad. So this is the difference between the two. In the first thing, the mindset is, okay, what is it that Krishna would like to eat? What can I prepare today for the pleasure of Krishna? In the second one, oh, today I feel like eating such a dish. So I will prepare it, I will offer to Krishna, and then I will eat. So that's what Krishna is saying. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So will Krishna accept?
Yes.
Krishna will accept. Because Krishna, and how will Krishna accept? So then what is the difference between the previous offering and this offering?
There he said something, but here he is disclosing it more and more.
See, here Krishna uses the word asnami. Krishna says, I will accept. He says, I will accept it. In 27, there is no word called asnami. In 27, there is no word called asnami, and Krishna does not say that he will accept it. Now, that doesn't mean that Krishna will not accept it. Okay? Krishna will accept it in proportion to one's feeling. Krishna says, no, as you surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. So in proportion to what is our feeling, in that proportion, Krishna will accept our offering. Okay? Let's go to 28. Oh Lord.
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्षसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि.
In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its sumptuous and insumptuous results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. Hare Krishna.
So if you do this, whatever you do, whatever you eat, you do as an offering to me. If you do what Krishna is saying in the previous verse, then as a result of that, what will happen? One will be freed from the bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. See, Krishna is saying Shubha, Ashubha, Falair Evam. From all that is Shubha and Ashubha, everything you will be freed from that. Now, auspicious work means punya karmas, and inauspicious work means papa. So one will be freed from both punya and papa. Why? Because both of them will keep you in the material world. Punya will help you enjoy in heaven, but still it is the material world. Still you have to come back, and still you are in the cycle of birth and death. And papa will take you to the lower planetary systems, hellish planets, and from there also one has to again be in the cycle of birth and death. So when we offer our activities, offer our food to Krishna, at least we are going to be released from the bondage of work. We are going to be released from the Papa and Punya, Shubha, Ashubha, Falair, Krishna is saying. Let's go to 29.
समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्.
I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whosoever I renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also as a friend to him. Hare Krishna.
So this verse is giving us a glimpse into the heart of Krishna. Very, very endearing Very, very heart-touching verse by Krishna. What is he saying? I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So if you go to see these, in the first two lines, Krishna is saying that he is impartial. No, he is not partial to anyone. But in the last two lines, Krishna is saying, but then again, whoever renders service to me in devotion is a friend, and I am also a friend to him. So here Krishna is saying, first two lines Krishna is saying that he is not partial. In the last two lines, he is saying that he is partial. So you can say that this is a contradiction. Now, is God partial? If God is equal to all, then why do bad things happen to good people? This question is asked many times. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why does a pious person suffer? Does God treat everyone equally? Are we all equal in God's eyes? Why did Krishna take the side of Pandavas and not the Kauravas? So if Krishna is saying that I envy no one, I am not partial to anyone, then why did he take the side of the Pandavas and not the Kauravas? Why did God take the side of demigods like Indra when the confrontation occurred between the demigods and the demons? Why did Lord Ram take the side of Sugriv and not Vali? We know Ram killed Vali from behind the tree. That is also a controversy from the Ramayana, isn't it? So, if based on all this, how can one conclude that Krishna is impartial? Let's try to understand. First two lines, Krishna says he is not partial. Second two lines, Krishna says that he is partial. How to understand this? It depends on the level of the Lord's manifestation. It depends on which level of the Lord's manifestation is being talked about. Now, what are these levels of the Lord's manifestation? One level is the Supreme Lord as a judge. Now, when the Lord in his Paramatma feature, he is now acting as a judge, right? Now, the judges, what does a judge do? When the judge passes his judgment, he is not in favor of this party or that party. He has to pass his judgment as a neutral person. But in the second two lines, Krishna is talking about his Bhagavan aspect. Bhagavan aspect is what? Krishna focuses on the principle of pure devotional service. And when he sees that, he embraces that person. So the Bhagavan aspect of the Lord is a very intimate, elevated aspect of the absolute truth. So we know that the absolute truth is realized in three features: the Brahman, the Paramatma, and the Bhagavan. So the Brahman, we know, is the light that is emanating from Krishna's body. In the Paramatma feature, he's acting as a judge because he is accompanying everyone, be it the ant, be it a sinful person, or be it the pure devotee, be it Lord Brahma, or be it a worm in the stool. The Lord is accompanying everyone as the Paramatma, and the Lord is guiding from within each one of those living entities. So here he is neutral. He is there in the heart of every living entity. But then in the Bhagavan feature, he is more intimate, more personal with that person. Why? Because this is a more intimate aspect of the absolute truth. To try to understand this with an example, some children are loving and obedient, while some others are defiant and hateful. The father offers his care to everyone, but the intimacy of the relationship is not possible for everyone. So a father may have, let's say he has 5 kids, and not all the 5 kids are obedient. Some of them are very defiant. Some of them oppose whatever he says. They do not obey what he says. Is the father going to say, okay, because you're not obeying me, I'm not going to send you to school. I'm going to keep you in the house and you have to work as a maid in the house? No, he is going to provide the necessities for all his 5 kids, irrespective of whether the children are obedient and loving or they are defiant and hateful. But then this intimate relationship, the father is going to share with only those children who are obedient to him, who are loving, who want to spend time. No, so this intimacy of the relationship for the father is not possible with all the 5 kids. So he will provide to everyone, but then there is greater intimacy with those children who are loving and obedient. So the same thing applies to Krishna. Krishna offers his care to everyone, but intimacy of the relationship is not possible for everyone. That is only for his devotees. So finally, is Krishna partial or impartial? So the answer is Krishna is impartially partial. No, he is impartially partial. What does that mean? Because we are using two contradictory words here, impartially, partial. So he is partial to his devotees, but he is impartially allowing everyone to become his devotees. Nobody is said that, oh, because you are sinful, because you have committed so many murders, therefore I do not give you the opportunities to engage in bhakti. Krishna is not saying that. Everybody has the opportunity to engage in bhakti. Everybody has the opportunity to become his devotees. So in that aspect, he is impartial. But once one surrenders unto him, once one becomes his devotee, then Krishna becomes partial. So therefore, Krishna is impartially partial.
Partial.
He is impartial in terms of opening the doors for everyone to receive the benefits of his partiality. This is how we understand this verse. Srila Prabhupada describes the relationship between Krishna and his devotees in his purport. Very nice purport. When a diamond is set in a golden ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and at the same time, the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entity eternally glitter. And when a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold. The Lord is a diamond, and so this combination is very nice. So this combination, this loving intimacy of the Lord and his devotees, that is a very, very loving and very heart-touching relationship, just like how the diamond can nicely glitter in the gold ring.
I have a question.
Yes.
We talk about service a lot here. Can you just elaborate that service? Is that the same thing about God all day, offer the food, and is that what he means by service?
Your voice is kind of breaking. I was not able to understand properly your question.
Can you explain the service that God is looking for?
The service that God is looking for, God is not looking for a particular service. God is looking for service that is rendered with love and devotion. He is not looking for a particular service. Okay. But the acharyas explained that Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, of all the 9 kinds of devotional service, the most important are the first two, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So bhakti starts, especially in Kali Yuga, by chanting the holy name. It starts with that. That you have to have prioritize, and the rest, everything else you can do as an according to what is your ability. For example, there are many services that one can do, at home, from home, or at the temple. So depends on what you are good at, where you feel that you can render better service. For example, if somebody may be able to give a very good class in the temple, very nice Bhagavatam classes. But if you send him to the kitchen to cook, he will take 1 hour to peel maybe 1 kilo of potatoes. So both are devotional service, both are equal in the eyes of the Lord, but he feels that he is more, he can be utilized better giving a class, or vice versa, like that. So first thing is Shravanam and Kirtam, hearing and chanting of the holy name, you have to first prioritize. And the other services you can see according to what you can, according to your time, place, and circumstances. Okay.
So what if you do only Shravanam and Kirtanam and also being nice with everyone? Is that all?
Yeah, see, our movement is not just I chant, I hear, and I go back home back to Godhead. Our movement is all about to give this to others as much as possible. So if everyone is going to just chant and hear in their own respective homes, then who is going to take care of the temple? The temple requires a lot of services, and the temple is required. Why? So that we can, it's a place where we can go and give association and take association. Give association to those who are not devotees, and take association from our senior devotees. So temples are also important. If each one is practicing in their homes, then how will we take this movement to others, other non-devotees? Where is the place for them to come and hear the philosophy? So therefore, services are required in the temple. See, Krishna in the 18th chapter, he makes a declaration. He says that whoever gives this knowledge to the others, whoever is preaching, that person is very dear. There is no servant more dear to me than him, Krishna says in the 18th chapter. So if we have to give this knowledge to the others, then we need a platform, no? So in the temple, there are everyday classes. People come. In our homes, we may not be able to grant entry to anyone and everyone. But if there is a temple, people may be attracted.
Yeah, we do see a lot of, we meet a lot of people every day, right? We interact with many people every day. So there are service happening in that time also. So can we consider that as service? And
Yes, you can. If you want to do some service out of the temple somewhere else, that also you can do. Some devotees go on book distribution. Some people are giving. Some people are doing home programs.
Not a fixed goal. I'm talking about some days. Okay, whoever comes, whoever asks help. Today, someone asks help, then I'm helping that person. And tomorrow I may not meet anyone. Is that also considered as service?
Yes, that is also considered as devotional service. Yes, that is also considered as devotional service. Yes.
Okay.
Even plucking a leaf or a flower and offering it to the lordships in your apartment, that is also considered devotional service. Even eating prasad is devotional service.
Oh, okay.
But Mataji, here there's a sentence on verse text 27, and it says that even like but if anyone practices meditation on Krishna 24 hours by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra round his beats, he's surely the greatest yogi, as substantially by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So both are necessary to do.
Okay, so what's the question?
I think
No
you're
question.
supporting my answer, right? That being at home chanting can also help.
Yeah, so see that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. That this movement is not about I chant and I remain in my house and I go back home back to Godhead. No, it's about you going back to Godhead, but you taking with you or inspiring as many people as you can to go back home back to Godhead. Because devotee, see, the one qualification of a devotee is that he is compassionate to the other living entities. That is the quality of a devotee that our Shastras mention. So if we are just chanting in our homes, then where is the compassion for the other living entities?
People can see the difference when we interact with others. If you chant at home and if you're different from others, in your day-to-day interaction, people can see the difference in you that can influence in not knowingly, but I have noticed that if you behave well, that influence others too. Why some people like to sit with you, spend time with you more than the others. That means there is some good energy radiating, right? That's why.
Yeah, so there you are preaching, right? There you are preaching.
Yeah, but I'm not actually. I'm silent there, but at the same time, it's happening because I'm chanting and I'm making my mind pure. Indirectly, it is affecting the surroundings, and also, so that is also kind of service, right?
Yes, that is service. That is service. See, a devotee has a certain service, and a devotee throughout the lifetime wants to offer the best service. Okay, that's how a devotee thinks. See, now Krishna says that I will offer even a leaf. I will accept even a leaf, a flower, water. Krishna says, and fruit. He will accept it. But what does a devotee, how does a devotee think? Is a devotee going to think that, okay, I'm only going to offer a leaf and that's it? Is a devotee going to think that I will offer only a flower and that's it? No, a devotee wants to do the best he can. He wants to offer his best under his circumstances. So if a devotee is in a position when he can do much more than offering only a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water to Krishna, a devotee wants to offer his best. So you do your best under your circumstances. Not that you can do more, but you're settling for something less. So under your circumstances, you try to do the best. Let's say that, let's say somebody who has a lot of time, right? And
Oh yeah, that is.
you understand what I'm saying? You have a lot of time. You have the means also to do more service. Then why not? A devotee thinks that I want to do the best under my circumstances. That's how a devotee thinks. A devotee is not thinking, okay, I will just do a little bit and that's enough. That's it. No, if you can do more, then do more. You do the best that you can under your circumstances. If
Yeah,
you
that makes
cannot do other services, but you are doing your best, then Krishna will be pleased.
Okay. Okay. So service means the best what you can do. Okay.
The best of what you can do under your time, place, and circumstances. A devotee thinks like that. I want to do my best. Can we proceed? We have to do 30, right?
30.
Okay.
अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवसितो हि सः.
Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. Hare Krishna.
See here how Krishna is glorifying this bhakti process. He's saying that even if one commits the most abominable action, even if one is doing the most sinful action, if he is engaged in devotional service, then he should be considered saintly. Then he should be considered as sadhu. This is a very, very puzzling verse. Not everyone, it's a little difficult to understand. Because see here Krishna is using the word su duracharo. No, achara means behavior. Durachar means bad behavior. Su durachar means very bad behavior. So Krishna is saying if one is doing su durachar, he is committing the most abominable actions, but at the same time he is engaged in devotional service. At the same time he is bhajate mam. He is engaged in devotional service. And how is he engaged in devotional service? Without deviation. Ananya bhak. Without any deviation. Then he should be considered as a sadhu. Mantavya. He should be considered as a sadhu. So actually, if you see, one who does abominable or sinful activities is not considered to be saintly. He is considered to be a sadhu. But Krishna is saying that if somebody is engaged in devotional service and he commits the most abominable activity, then also you should consider him to be saintly. Why? Why? Because Krishna is saying, because he is properly situated in his determination. So here Krishna is talking about those who accidentally fall down. We should not misunderstand this verse. We should not think that, okay, because I'm engaging in devotional service, because I'm chanting, on the strength of my chanting, I can engage in sinful activities. No. This Krishna is talking about an accidental fall down, because old habits sometimes can come back. No, old habits can come back. Old habits die hard, they say. So one may be engaged in devotional service and there may be an accidental fall down because of that. But because one person is engaged in devotional service, he will come back on track sooner than later. So therefore, because he is properly situated in his determination, therefore he will come back on track. And therefore Krishna is saying that for such a person, you have to consider him saintly. You have to consider him to be a sadhu. Now there are many evidences from the Shastra to understand this point. We are not going to read all of them. You can read them when I share the slides in the group. Now see here, this we will read. Srila Prabhupada explains, because one has committed himself to Krishna consciousness, it is proclaimed here by Krishna that within a very short time he will become saintly. One may pull the plug out of an electric fan and the fan may still go on even though electricity has been disconnected. But it is understood that the fan will soon come to a stop. Once we take shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, we turn the switch off for our karmic activities. And although these activities may still revolve, it is to be understood that they will quickly diminish. So when we switch off a fan, although the electricity is cut off, still the fan goes on for some time before it comes to a complete halt. In the same way, when we surrender to Krishna, those old habits may still be coming back to us. But then because we have pulled the plug off, because we have surrendered to Krishna, sooner or later, yes, those bad activities will quickly diminish. We are properly situated. Therefore, Krishna is saying that such people should be considered saintly. Okay, so here there are more evidences from the Srimad Bhagavatam. All these you can read when we share the slides. I just put them here so that it can give us a better understanding of this particular shloka. But of course, we cannot read them all because of time constraints, but you can read them when we share the slides. Let's go to 31. So yeah, coming back to the verse 30, we should not use that verse as an excuse for us to do any kinds of nonsense and then think that, okay, everybody should consider me to be a sadhu. No, this is to be applied to those, not to us. When we do devotional service, we have to try our best to do the best. No, try our best with full sincerity to not do any nonsense. And if somebody else accidentally falls down, then we should see others who have accidental fall downs as a sadhu. Let's hear 31.
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति.
He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace, O son of Kunti. Declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Hare Krishna.
So Krishna is again talking about the person who accidentally falls down. Krishna is saying he becomes quickly righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So Krishna is telling that my devotee will never perish. Now, never perish does not mean that the devotee does not die. It means that Krishna's love for his devotee and the devotee's love for Krishna always will remain. So Krishna is saying that's declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Now, another thing to note here is, why is Krishna telling Arjuna that you declare that my devotee will never perish? Why cannot Krishna himself declare? Why is he asking Arjuna to declare? One can ask that question. Why? Because very soon Krishna is going to break his promise. Very soon he's going to break his promise. Because Krishna had taken a vow that he will not use any weapons in the war. And he was only going to serve as a chariot driver. But very soon in the war, what happens? Once Bhishma Dev almost killed Arjuna. At that time, Krishna was so furious, he took the wheel of the chariot and he rushed towards Bhishma Dev to attack him. So Krishna actually broke his promise on the battlefield. So what matters to Krishna? Krishna does not care. No, he's not worried about his reputation, that he will be called as someone who breaks his promise. We know Bhishma, the importance of vows for a Kshatriya. No, Bhishma Dev, he took a vow of never to be married, and no matter what happened, he never broke that vow. So vows are very, very important for the Kshatriyas. But Krishna is not concerned about his reputation of being somebody who broke his vow. All that he is concerned with is that he wants to protect his devotees. In this case, Arjuna. So therefore, he's saying that if I declare, people will say, oh, but you can break your promises. But if Arjuna says, then Krishna will keep the vow of his devotee. Because for Krishna, it is more important that the devotee's reputation is intact, not his own reputation. So if Arjuna declares, then Krishna will follow it to fulfill the vows of his devotee, Arjuna. So here you can see Srila Prabhupada explaining the circumstances that led to that incident where Bhishma Dev almost killed Arjuna. So it may be something that you probably have not heard of it before. So you can go on and read this when we share the slides in the next class. I mean, when we share the slides in the group. Here there is a shloka from the Uddhava Gita. Krishna is talking to Uddhava. This is just before Krishna departed. Krishna left the planet, before Krishna's disappearance. Krishna saying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna said, my dear Uddhava, by associating with my pure devotees, one can destroy one's attachment for all objects of material sense gratification. Such purifying association brings me under the control of my devotee. One may perform the Ashtanga Yoga system, engage in philosophical analysis of the elements of material nature, practice non-violence and other ordinary principles of piety, chant the Vedas, perform penances, take to the renounced order of life, execute sacrificial performances and dig wells, plant trees, and perform other public welfare activities, give in charity, carry out severe vows, worship the demigods, chant confidential mantras, visit holy places, and accept major and minor discipline injunctions. So one can do all these things. But even by performing such activities, one does not bring me under his control. Okay, but that can be possible. How? My dear Uddhava, by associating with my pure devotees, one can destroy one's attachments for all objects of material sense gratification. Such purifying association brings me under the control of my devotee. So this is the potency of associating with a pure devotee. So here there are more Shastric evidences. You can also read this when we share the slides in the group. Let's go to 32.
मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्राः तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम्.
O son of Partha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishya, merchants, and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. Hare Krishna.
So this is a very, very controversial verse. Many people, I mean, many unauthorized translators, when they translate this verse, there is one thing that they omit or one thing that they present in a different way because it's a very, very controversial verse and they don't want to get into controversy. So what is controversial about this verse? Who can say?
I think the woman Vaishya Shudra,
Yeah, what about women Vaishya Shudra?
that they can also do devotional service, attain Krishna, even though they are like very sense gratification, even though they like material life, even though they live in material senses.
No, but what is controversial here? Controversial. That may be hard for some people to accept.
Lower birth.
Lower birth. Who is considered to be a lower birth?
Women, Vaishya, Shudra, merchandise,
Women
workers.
also considered.
Who?
Women.
Women, yes. And nowadays in the modern times, it's considered that women's rights and all those things, feminism and all that. So here Krishna is referring to women, Vaishya and Shudras as those of lower birth. So that's why this is a controversial verse, no? But we will try to understand. See, this is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada translated, he did not change what Krishna is saying. He has, see, Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudra, they are called as Papa Yonaha. Papa Yonaha means lower birth, born in a lower family. Striyo means women, Vaishyas, Tatha, Shudras. So you see how Srila Prabhupada has given the translation as it is. This is the reason why Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is pure. And this is the reason why Prabhupada's Gita has made so many devotees all over the world, because Prabhupada never twisted the meanings. But we have to understand this in the right spirit. So what is Krishna saying? That those of lower birth, let's first see what Krishna is saying. He is saying that those who take shelter of me, even if they are of a lower birth, even they can attain the supreme destination. So even if one has a unfavorable starting point, because somebody in a lower birth has an unfavorable starting point in the bhakti path. Okay, but even they can attain the supreme destination. This is what Krishna is saying. Now the controversy here is he is calling women, Vaishyas and Shudras as the lower birth. So how to understand? See, women, Vaishya and Shudras are considered to be are considered to have unfavorable starting points in bhakti. Let's come to Shudras. Now, in the Varnashram system, we have the Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Brahmanas, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras. Now, Brahmanas are the ones who are most inclined in the bhakti process, and the Shudras are the least inclined because of their nature, not because of anything else, not because of their birth. It's just that by nature, they are not inclined towards devotional practices. They have that mentality. They are not inclined. It's something that does not come to them naturally. even the Vaishyas, the merchants, because their mind is more inclined in business. No, what is there for it in me? How can I make profits? So therefore, a Vaishya and Shudra, by nature, they are not inclined towards bhakti. So therefore, they have an unfavorable starting point. Now, coming to women. Now, when one is in a woman's body is also considered to be an unfavorable starting point, because by nature, women enjoy sense gratification more than men. It is, see, if you want to compare men and women, who like to dress up nicely before they go out for a party, the men or the women?
Woman.
Women. It's only natural, isn't it? We say diamonds are a woman's best friend. We never say diamonds are a man's best friend. So why? Because in a woman's body, one is more inclined to sense gratification than in a man's body. See, when we get a birth itself, human birth is very rare. Now, in the human birth, you can take birth in a male body or in a female body. But if you have more credits, then you get a male body. If you have lesser credits, then you get a female body, because a female body is more suitable for sense gratification, or rather, it is more inclined towards sense gratification more than the men. Okay, so this is the reason why Krishna is saying. So here, this is not a discriminatory verse. Sometimes people say that Krishna is discriminating the women, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. Actually, Krishna is not discriminating here. This is a verse that is removing all discrimination. How is he removing all discrimination? Krishna is saying that irrespective of whether one is of a lower birth, irrespective of whether you have an unfavorable starting point in bhakti, you can attain the supreme destination. So rather, this verse, Krishna is removing discrimination. He is not bringing in any kind of discrimination. So this is how we should properly understand this particular verse. So we all have different starting points in life, but the process of bhakti is so powerful, so potent, so fast, that once we start off, the starting points do not matter. Everyone can reach the goal. Everyone can reach the lotus feet of the Lord. So here we can see how this chapter talks about the glories of bhakti in 5 different ways. Talks about the destination, it gives eternal result. Possession, it does not need any fancy material assets, even the simplest of things, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. Devotional qualification, it can be performed even by those who are not pure-hearted. So even if one is accidentally falling down, even those people can perform devotional services. Deviation, it can redeem even if the performer sins. So occasional, incidental fall. So this again was another puzzling verse we should not misunderstand. See, even if we fall, see, what does Krishna say? That even if he falls down, no? See, there are two things, falling down and falling away. Even if we fall down, if we are engaging in devotional service, continue to engage in devotional service, we have fallen down, but we have not fallen away from Krishna. But if we go away from Krishna, then we are not under his shelter. We are not under his protection. So even if we accidentally fall down, we should not fall away from Krishna. So occasional incidental fall. So such persons can be redeemed. That is the beauty of bhakti. And it can uplift even those who are not qualified, even those who have unfavorable starting points. So this is the glory of bhakti in this chapter. Let's go to 33.
किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणाः पुण्या भक्ता राजर्षयस्तथा अनित्यमसुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम्.
How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmins, the devotees, and the saintly kings, therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Hare Krishna.
So if those who have unfavorable starting points, like those in the woman's body, in the body of a Vaishya Shudra, if they can also attain this highest destination, then how much more it is for those who have favorable starting points, who are the righteous Brahmanas, the devotee, and the saintly kings, the Raja Rishi. Previously, the kings were not just kings, they were devotee kings. So they were saintly, they are called as Raja Rishis. So these people have favorable starting points. So if those people who with unfavorable starting points can attain the supreme destination, then even more so, those who have favorable starting points, like the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings, Krishna is saying. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me, Krishna is saying. See, he's describing this material world as anityam, asukham, lokam. Temporary, miserable world. So this is the nature of this material world. So therefore, Krishna is saying, just leave, just come out of this anityam, asukham, lokam. Just leave this temporary, miserable world and engage in devotional, loving devotional service to me. Bhajasva, bhajasva mam. So loving service unto me, Krishna is saying. Now we come to the most important verse. See, the essence of all Vedic Shastras, essence of all Vedas is the Bhagavad Gita. Essence of the Bhagavad Gita we have discussed is the middle 6 chapters. Essence of the middle 6 chapters are chapters 9 and 10 because they come in the center. Now, essence of these 2 chapters is the upcoming verse that we are going to read, because this verse 9.34 is actually dividing the Bhagavad Gita exactly into 2. It's coming right in the center. So we will see this verse now, 34. It's the last verse.
Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam matparayanah. Om tatsaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yogo Nama Navamodhyayah.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my in me. Surely you will come to me.
So what's that sound? Okay, let's read this again. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Becoming completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So there are 4 things Krishna is saying, 4 things that we have to do. What are they? Engage your mind always in thinking of me. So always think about Krishna. Become my devotee. Become Krishna's devotee. Man mana bhava. So this is engage your mind always in thinking of me. Mat bhakto. Become my devotee. Mat yaji mam namaskuru. Offer obeisances unto me and worship me. So these 4 things Krishna is saying that we have to do. Say 2 things are on the mental platform, 2 things are on the physical platform. Engage your mind always in thinking of me is on the mental platform. Then become my devotee. Physical platform, offer obeisances unto me and worship me. So these are on the physical platform. So physically and mentally, we have to be completely absorbed in Krishna. So Krishna is saying like this, completely absorbed in me. So physically and mentally, we be completely absorbed in Krishna. And then as a result of that, what is it that we get? Surely you will come to me, Krishna says. So this is the most confidential knowledge. This chapter itself is titled Most Confidential Knowledge. And in this most confidential knowledge, this is the most important shloka. 4 instructions that Krishna is giving. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances unto me and worship me. Because of this, you will be completely absorbed in me. And because of this, surely you will come to me, Krishna is saying. So this shows how Krishna wants us to do this for our own benefit, not that he wants everybody to worship him. No, Krishna is simply stating the facts. So he is our well-wisher, and therefore he is telling us what we should do so that we can go back home, back to Godhead, never to come back again. So here we saw the section is describing the glories of devotional service to Krishna. So you can see how Krishna's position is revealed progressively in the Gita, more explicitly and emphatically. In chapter 4.24, Krishna spoke about Brahma. And then in 9.16, he says, Aham Brahma, that I am that Brahman effulgence. I am Brahma. I am Krishna. This is not Lord Brahma. This is Brahma. Then in 7th verse, he says Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. So he's saying the absolute truth is Vasudev. Now, who is that Vasudev? He is mentioning that here in 9.13. He says the absolute truth is me. So Krishna is saying that absolute truth is me. Previously he said absolute truth is Vasudev. I'm sorry, Vasudev, but now he's saying absolute truth is me. In 8th chapter, he says universe is created and destroyed. Then in here in 9th chapter, he says all this happens under my control. So Krishna is revealing here that how he is a universal controller. In 7.20 and 7.23, Krishna said that worship of Krishna is greater than the worship of the demigods. And here he is saying that demigod worship is also ultimately meant for me only. But my direct worship is much better because this is indirect worship. So you can see how as Krishna is proceeding, he is revealing more and more about his position in a very explicit and emphatic way. So these are, of course, the things for self-study. You can go back to the shlokas and see and research and take down your notes. This is all for self-study. So 4 principal features of the Lord. God means he is the cause of all causes. He is a supreme controller. He is a supreme proprietor and he is a supreme enjoyer. This is what is God. So in this verse, you can see how Krishna has revealed in these particular verses. Again, for self-study, you can go and see how he is revealing that he is the cause of all causes. He is a supreme proprietor. He is a supreme controller as well as a supreme enjoyer. So this also you need to self-study. So we discussed how there are 2 aspects to Krishna, the opulence and the sweetness. So what did we say in this chapter that displayed Krishna's sweetness? You can see in these verses, no? 1, 22, 26, 29, 30, 31, and 32. In these verses, Krishna is showing his sweetness. And here you have the verse by verse summary of the chapter for you to read when we share the slides in the group. And with this, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we come to the end of chapter number 9. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Just on time we have finished. Okay. So next class, if Krishna so sanctions, we will start number 10. The opulence of the Absolute. In that chapter, Krishna is talking about both his opulence and his sweetness will be revealed. Okay, do we have any questions?
Thank you, Mataji. Koti Koti Danvat Pranam Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Bhagavad Gita ji ki jai, H. Jai Pataka Maharaj ki jai, H. Srinam Mataji ki jai. Thank you for your deep devotional association, Mataji. Koti Koti Danvat Pranam. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Very sweet. When you don't attend classes, then people ask me, Vrinda Gopika Mataji didn't come for the class. So your absence is deeply missed. Thank you so much.
Please forgive me, Mataji. My family member, my brother-in-law, sister-in-law came from India, and the time difference to episode I missed. That is my mistake, Mataji. Please forgive me.
No,
Koti Koti
Mataji.
Danvat.
Thank you so much for your association. Hare Krishna. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, since there are no questions or comments, we will end today's session. See you all in the next class if Krishna so sanctions. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Mataji, Dhamma Pranam.
Hey, today Shivani is your birthday, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Wish you a very, very happy birthday, Shivani. And it's my sincere desire that very soon you can find your bona fide spiritual master, take initiation, and then remain on the path of bhakti with all determination and go back home, back to Godhead. After a lot of service to Guru and Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. You made my day. Koti Koti Dhamma Pranam to your lotus feet. Thank you for your blessings.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Shivani beta. Jai Shri
Happy
Prabhupada.
birthday.
Thank you,
Happy
Mataji.
birthday.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy
Thank you so
birthday.
much. Means a lot. Thank you. Made my day. Hare Krishna, Koti Koti.
Very good.
Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.